My name is Greg Fornelli, and I'm the owner of SRI and Stock Car Steel and Aluminum. SRI is a distribution business. The differences between SRI Performance and SRI Supplies, which is now one company, is SRI Supplies is industrial sales, adhesives, abrasives, fasteners, cutting tools. SRI Performance is straight performance parts for motorsports. The thing that binds them together is they're all motorsports businesses. Motorsports is our bread and butter, it's our love, it's our passion. Performance parts a lot of times goes along with people fabricating and machining and being mechanics, and so they always need the industrial supplies to go along with it. Well, Stock Car Steel and Aluminum was the original company that I started. That was 24 years ago, getting ready to have our 25th anniversary next year. And I was in the steel service industry. I had nothing to do with motorsports whatsoever. I stumbled upon Hendrick Motorsports, stumbled upon the racetrack out there, and didn't know anything about motorsports at all, didn't know anything about racing or NASCAR. And what I sold at the time, the business I used to work for, company I used to work for, we didn't sell much of what race teams used. They used a little bit of it. So we brought in tubing, brought in sheet metal, the company I used to work for, and I started this little race car division of that company, and it soon took off like crazy. But my boss found what a lot of people have found that's tried to service that industry. It's a tough industry to service. The customer service they need is off the charts. What sets race teams apart in motorsports in general is that typically a big steel company likes a customer that buys a whole lot of line items. But race teams use a little bit of a ton of different stuff. So whether it's one tube of this and a half a stick of that and 2 sheets of this, and I need titanium and aluminum and steel, and it's just a wide variety of product mix, which is hard for one, especially the big steel companies that were in Charlotte, to service that industry. So by being a nimble and kind of a niche business, I knew in my head at the time that would work. So I quit my job and started Stock Car Steel 24 years ago, and just has been crazy ever since. From that came the acquisition of SRI Supplies, and that was about 20 years ago, and that was a business that was already established that was selling these industrial supplies to the race teams. And to be honest with you, the supplies business fits in perfectly with the steel company. Just logistically wise, we merged it into this company, name and everything else, but it really is, you're buying steel, you're buying supplies. You're buying supplies, you're buying steel. So it really worked out well, and that company just took off and grew. Got just under 40,000 square foot in this building. Well, with the merger, what just happened a couple weeks ago, we've got 50-ish employees here. A lot of the square footage is taken up by used parts, what we're sitting in now, which is really a crazy kind of business all its own. The Cup guys, they'll take a part that's maybe got a lifespan of 20 races, and they'll race it 2 or 3 times, and they'll say, okay, that's it for us. But this part, really has a life that's really good life, because it's the top quality part. And so, they rely on us to take those parts from them and sell it out to the public. And we've got a used parts division here our employees here are fantastic, second to none. So we've got a huge reach. Internationally, we sell a lot of parts all over the globe. New Zealand, Australia's a big market for us, Mexico for used parts. But people will run, ARCA, late model stock. They'll run entire seasons and winning seasons out of nothing but used parts. What PRI means to me is the world. I've been going to that show since I've been in business. I mean, I remember the first year I went there, maybe it was in Columbus, Ohio, or it was somewhere that was brief. But from the humble beginnings of me going, by myself, the only employee, to what it's grown into for me and for what I've seen the PRI show grow into is just amazing. The transformation for me and for the show, seems like we've kind of grown together. It's a must do. There's no question about PRI. It's the show you have to do. Before the performance parts business, it was more of a time for me to go see my customers. I mean, it used to be PRI for me was, I just have a booth for my friends to stop by for all the purchasing guys from all the race teams. Somewhere they can go, get off their feet, sit down. And all the Cup teams went to PRI. And it was just a time to entertain. It was all it really was for me. It has since turned into a chance to find new business. The international business we find. We still have that aspect of PRI where we're still seeing our friends that have been buying from us for years. They're going to keep buying from us. But it's a new business we can pick up by being at PRIs, which really makes it worth our time and money to go to. From the littlest guys, from guys running a single car drag team in the middle of Kansas, and then from international companies that stopped by, didn't know about us, So it's opened a lot of doors to new business, and that's what it means to me. It means to me new business growth. Where I see the motorsports industry in 10 years it's a tricky question, right? I'm bullish. Listen, I'm an optimist. In my whole life, I've been an optimist. I'm optimistic about 10 years. I've owned this business 25 years. I've got a 6-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old son, and I expect them to be running the business 20 years from now. Growing up, I was a huge sports fan. But I didn't know anything about racing, and I think that's the way it is there. There's not a huge population of people that want to race cars, but it's big enough, and I don't think that percentage of the population is going to go down. You may have kids that don't care, about they'll want to Uber or they'll want to do whatever, but there's still going to be a big population of those kids in school who like to work on an engine and want to go race. To learn more about SRI and Stock Car Steel, please follow us at SRI Performance and at Stock Car Steel. And then an 800 number for everyone out there is 877-604-8077. Or please stop by anytime. We're always welcome to stop by and see us in person. I am Greg Fornelli, and I am PRI.